Hey guys, another episode of Nimmo's Nuggets. Not in my kitchen, but in the office. And the reason we're not in the kitchen is because we're not going to talk about food today. We're not going to talk about eating right or packing lunches or anything else like that. Thing I want to talk to you today about is the difference between sport coaches and strength coaches. And I believe that nowadays there's a difference, or there's a misconception out there that the coach that teaches your son or daughter how to play baseball or how to play soccer or football or whatever else it may be, insert whatever sport that they're in, minus the sport of weightlifting possibly, or the sport of CrossFit, that those coaches are also capable of teaching your athlete how to train in a weight room. And the reality is that that's just not the same playing field. Just as much as I'm not a football coach, although I played football at a high level for a number of years in my life, I don't consider myself a football coach. That's not my level of expertise. That's not what I'm educated in. It's not what I've developed my profession around. Coaching my son's flag football team is different than teaching high school kids how to play better football. That's just not my role. My role is a strength coach. I've went to school. I've developed a number of certifications, and my experience in education has been through strength and conditioning on the adult level as well as the youth sport level. Your sport coaches are those coaches that their level of expertise, they've been taught, they've been trained. Someone believes that they are educated enough in the sport of soccer or the sport of football or the sport of baseball or basketball or whatever it may be. They've developed skills and coaching tactics and techniques on how to teach athletes of all ages or certain ages how to play their specific sport. The idea that that level of coaching carries over to the athlete in the weight room or in a conditioning setting is just, it's misconstrued. It's a perfect example of, I took math classes when I was a kid and I passed math tests when I was a kid and growing up through college. But the reality is that I'm not a math teacher. So I don't teach people math because I did math before, just like a coach who's maybe a sport coach who's maybe lifted weights with a team before or lifted weights through high school or college, even if it's a Division I college program. Just because they did that program with a coach there, it doesn't mean that they should then teach others how to do a strength program. So this is a little bit of an educational side of things to parents that you should be looking out for, is that if you're looking for education for your kids on how to become better athletes in the sport of baseball, basketball, soccer, whatever else it may be, seek out the coaches and the individuals that are trained and educated on how to teach your athletes those sports. And if you're a parent that's looking for your athlete to get strength training advice, to get speed and agility advice, the strength and conditioning side of the athlete, then seek out a strength and conditioning coach that is qualified and able to teach your athlete that stuff. Okay. So I grow tired and weary of the conversation or hearing the hearsay of coaches who are trying to run strength and conditioning programs that are not qualified to run strength and conditioning programs. And I will tell you this, I don't care what the high school tells you or what the club sport tells you that, oh, well, our coaches can also do this. It is very few and far between. It is the exception, not the rule, that your sport coaches also are qualified and educated and certified to run strength and conditioning programs. I will warn you of that. Okay. I want to see that person has a proper level of education. That could be through a degree. Their education was not in physical education. Their education was in exercise physiology or some level of kinesiology program. I understand that your physical education programs fall under kinesiology. There is a level of biomechanics that fall into there. There is a level of exercise education in there. They are not strength coaches. They are not strength and conditioning coaches. There's a reason why there's a separate degree for things like that. letters behind their name like CSCS, Certified Strength and Conditioning Specialist. Okay, that means that they went above and beyond their schooling and received certification to do strength and conditioning for athletes. Okay, they are a specialist in that. There are continuing education requirements of them to do that stuff. They didn't just lift weights one time and thought, or lifted weights for 10 years of their life and said, well, you know what, I think I can teach others how to do this. So parents, don't fall into that trap. Educators, our athletic directors, our directors of physical education, and our PE teachers. Let's stop kidding ourselves. Coaches, sport coaches, let's stop kidding ourselves that we know what the heck we're doing in the weight room with our athletes, because more than likely, like, we're running more risk than reward there. So as administrators, let's reach out to those that are qualified. I'm not saying go to me. I'm just saying go to someone that we know in your area. Like, I hope this video reaches more than just the 10 people that I'm friends with on Facebook. So I hope that this reaches more people and we start to really evaluate on an administrative level in the high school. And parents, push your high schools to do this. That PE teachers does not mean strength coaches. So why are we running athletic PE programs with coaches that don't really know what they're doing in the weight room? They don't know how to teach a clean. They don't know how to teach a front squat. They don't know the proper mechanics of the body that way. They don't know how to minimize injuries by getting somebody in the right mobility exercise to help them out. Like, this is the bigger picture. And it's even more important that we do this with our younger athletes. Like, adults, like, hey, you're on your own. You have this level of responsibility of your own on your own there. But as kids, like, we're shaping this. Like, we're deciding, we're determining, we're showing them what exercise is for a lifespan here. So why don't we put the best people in place to do that? There are organizations out there that are doing this well, and I applaud you for doing this. There are schools out there that are doing this, that have realized that investing in this is imperative for them to really create a health-based program for their kids. Okay, there are organizations, sports clubs out there that are doing this, and they're doing this well, and they have the right people in the right places, and the sport coaches coach the sport, and the strength coaches coach the strength and the conditioning side of things, and they work collaboratively to make those efforts conjoined. There are groups out there doing this. I stress to you, find those groups and mimic what they're doing, because I can't stress this enough. You stick to coaching your sports. Let me stick to coaching the weights, and I promise you, we're going to keep our kids safer, okay? We're going to increase performance beyond belief, and we're going to be more efficient with our time. That means the sport coach can just concentrate on making that athlete a better football player, and our strength coach can focus on just making that athlete the athlete they need to be so that they can be the better football player that coach wants them to be. So, coaches, let's be smart, and let's do the right things in our scope of practice. Parents, let's push our educators to make sure that they're doing the right things for our kids. Club programs, let's get the right people in the right places and really develop an overall athlete here. So I know this might have been a little bit longer of a video. It might have seemed like a little bit of a rant, but I know there's people out there that are going to hear this, and they're going to listen to the right people are going to hear this. I know some of the wrong people are going to hear this too, and you're going to think this is an attack on all coaches. This isn't. I just believe that there's certain levels of or certain scopes of practice that we belong in. Again, I've taken math classes before. I'm not a math teacher. I don't try to teach math. I'm a strength coach. This is what I've done as a profession. This is what I've built my business around to do. I hope that I have enough education and enough wherewithal to help these athletes and coaches around me from an education standpoint and from a training standpoint. I don't pretend to be a football coach. I don't pretend to be a soccer coach or a baseball coach. I want to let those coaches do what they do best, which is coach their sports. So let's help each other. Let's help these athletes out there. Thanks a lot, guys. We'll see you next week.